So we have a quorum.
We
I'm
have
here
to
because
each answer
Harriet
the
cannot be.
attendance.
And so, do we need to do a roll call? No.
Yes.
So we'll start with, let's see, Cressica,
Hey, Cressica.
Hey, I'm here.
okay, Monica,
Here.
Ava. I see a face.
You do?
Well,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
I think it's a screenshot.
Well, it is a screenshot, but it's a screenshot of the face.
Well, if Ava's here, we really have a quorum.
Okay, Janice,
Here.
Here,
Kathy, here, Holly,
here.
Elizabeth.
Here.
I
Do
know.
I count?
Yeah.
Well, you always count.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And Bill here. Okay. So we have a quorum and we can proceed. The minutes are the next order of business. Anyone have any corrections, any problems?
Nope.
Do I hear a
I
motion
move
to
that we
accept?
accept the minutes as submitted.
Okay, Kathy, yeah. Second,
I second.
Holly. Okay, minutes done.
We have to vote.
Uh,
We have to vote and
Yeah.
say,
okay. Cressica?
Yes.
Okay. Monica?
Yes.
Eva's still muted. So Holly,
Yes.
Janice,
yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and Bill, yes. Okay, so minutes accepted. So, project updates. And Monica asked if she could go first. So Monica, why don't you do that?
Yes, so I wanted to talk about the poster for the upcoming conference. I was able to be in discussion with a few people, Harriet, Bill, and Kathy. I really do want to thank you guys for giving me input and advice and how I should format and everything. I did run into an issue about the text size, and it would have caused us to have a second poster, which would have meant we would go up to close to $250 for two posters getting printed out, and that's a little pricey for just a quick conference thing. I do have, if I'm able to, let's see, if I'm able to share my screen, I can show you the poster I worked on, and then I have been discussing with Cressica, who created a new poster, which pretty much adds in everyone's discussions and advice and fixings, and her poster is a lot better than mine. I'll definitely say that. So if I could share my screen, that would really help, if that's okay.
Sure, I don't know how to do that. Yes.
All
Okay.
right.
Doing that, Carrie?
I'm not doing it. She's doing it.
Does that work?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so this was the original poster that I created. This is all information that was off of the community posters for the event we had this past fall. A few things that were advised to me was the text size, the text font, the amount of text on there. I did agree that is a lot of text. It kind of just mumble jumble together. So Cressica has put in the time to help out, and this is the one that she has been able to help with. It's lovely. I will email Cressica a few edits that I have noticed, especially one is that Elizabeth gave me a heads up about the Island Fellow term. It needs to be a certain way for the community. Not the community, sorry, the fellowship. They wanted to word it a certain way.
Yeah,
But-
sorry. I meant to go over that with Elizabeth this morning, but I completely forgot.
It is all good, but I just wanted to say a huge, gigantic shout out to Cressica for putting this all together. Thank you so much. I have so much on my hands at the moment these past few weeks and the next few weeks. But yeah, here is the updated poster. Cressica is still working on it once she cleans it up. As much as she does want to clean it up, we'll send it out to the committee. We do need to find someone that will be able to purchase.
Oh, you muted yourself, Monica.
We do need to find someone on the committee that's able to purchase the boards. I was able to see the pricing through Staples. They do for the correct size, which is 38 inches by 46 inches. They only do delivery with that size. They don't do pickup at store. So as a mother that needs diapers and wipes and everything else as a baby, I do not have that money to spend in a short time and have to wait for reimbursement because reimbursement during the last fall community event came a little late. And I really don't want to run into that again. So if someone could pick that up, I'd really appreciate that.
Okay,
And
but shouldn't we look at the editing first before we go pick
and
it up?
that's what I said, Bill. I said I would send it out to everyone once Cressica was done so that we can all go through it as a committee and make sure everything was clean and edited before we purchase and print it out.
It looks great.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. Well, that is all I have to say. It is my son's first birthday, so I didn't really want to be on the committee meeting today. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day and I will be in contact through email.
great.
Adios.
Bye.
Okay, so then I guess the next order of business is to see that and give some feedback on it, and then one of us can just pay for it. I can probably do that, so. Fire station,
Who's in charge of the fire station?
I'm sorry?
Who's it, who's?
Well, it's Monica and I. Monica hasn't been involved with the most recent information. I was just waiting for Janice to come back so she could hear.
Sorry.
With regard to the fire station, things have moved slowly. There was a long hiatus over Christmas. I got back to work on this about 2 weeks ago, actually, and I called a subset of the people whom I talked to in November. Chris, there were those who were not interested, so I did not call those. I've called back Ron Gallant, I've called Andy Staples, I've called Eric Tierney, and I've called Bill Shoppy. Both Eric and Bill expressed interest. I haven't heard back from Bill Shoppy yet. I haven't called him yet again either. I have followed up with Eric. He's not responded, so I don't know where we stand with those. The other individual was Nate Spector, who's a representative from Evergreen, and he's coming here on March 3rd to look at the job. He talked with his associate who was here and who looked at it, but Nate wants to see it himself. So that's where we stand on the fire station. It's in not limbo, but it's not moving forward quickly at the moment.
Is this, refresh me, the newbie, it's for the ground array or the?
I'm sorry.
The roof array?
This is for the weatherizing and the insulating of the generator room in the fire.
Oh, right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I was thinking up Island Post.
No, this is
Okay.
the old fire station and it's
Got
been
it.
a challenge to get.
Got
And
it.
we're supposed to look for island contractors and I'm having a hard time getting feedback. So if anyone knows of anyone else whom you'd like me to reach out to, let me know and I will add that to the list, okay?
I just heard of somebody recently who was new on the island and doing that kind of stuff. Who was it?
So that's where we stand on that, right? Any questions or any comments about that? Holly? EV charger?
So the EV chargers have been installed and they are working. Now we have to get them connected to a network so that we can have, I guess, have them paid for at least partially. I did talk to Candace at the ICC. She said that even though they use Ops Connect, that does not handle the full amount. And the ICC is subsidizing the charger up there. So I wanted to get some feedback from the committee.
Can you explain what you mean?
Subsidizing,
It doesn't, yes,
so the money that they take in, what they're charging for the whatever rate does not cover the fee that Opt Connect charges the ICC to run that application.
okay.
So that to me was a little dismaying, but you
I
know,
don't remember that's being the case originally.
Well, that's
So I'll
what I-
talk
It
with
wasn't the
Candace.
case originally. I mean, because I was involved in that.
It was not the case.
It
No,
was not the case
No.
originally.
I've tried using that charger and OpConnect is a pain in the rear end to use in my limited experience.
So
Well, there are other, I mean,
If
I've
we
gone
can find
online,
somebody else.
yeah, there are other companies that do it. But I just wanted to get some feedback. I mean, I use it, when I charge it, I use it and I don't have any problem.
I
Yeah.
haven't tried in a while because I had such a problem with it then.
Yeah,
I've talked to a number of people who were charging over the summer. There were a few people who charged routinely
yeah,
every day.
Yeah.
And those people had no difficulty at all.
Yeah.
And that's at a time when some people were having a lot of trouble.
yeah.
And we never managed to figure out why.
You know, when I work at the ICC gift shop, I usually put my car on the charger because I'm there 4 hours. It just makes
Mhm.
sense and I've never had any problem. So I don't know what,
Yeah, it was a while ago since I tried it.
yeah,
Why don't you and I talk and see if there's something in my brain that might be useful somewhere in
Yeah.
the dim corners of my brain about that thing?
yeah. I was hoping Candace would know a little bit more about it than she did, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
Anne did the research for that.
Yeah,
And,
McKee,
I got most of the
she was
emails.
our fellow when we
Right.
put that in.
I have most of the emails from her in a folder on my
Okay.
computer. I can go back and look. And I also have the contact names of the people we spoke to at that time.
okay,
So,
that would be helpful, but it is working.
yeah,
I'll
That's
use it.
exciting.
The little lights are on
Okay.
out there, I saw them.
I know, they're very exciting.
Kreska, the ground array for the health center.
I guess we're working on it. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's. We saw, did you all see Harriet's email about
Right.
that? So just deciding how to go next, I suppose.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you have a sense of when you're gonna want me to approach Don Etchison? Do we have any,
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you and Harriet about that actually, because what we should communicate to him. We have to find a way to communicate the impact to him. And
yeah, I need to
I
know
have some
what
ideas.
the committee wants communicated.
Yes,
So do you have enough information that we should talk sooner rather than later?
yeah, I do. I have a draft email for you. So I can send that and then we can chat about
I'll
it.
even talk to you about it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I volunteered to contact him as in a butter because I know him.
ETIP update. Yeah, ETIP update.
I can provide that.
Sure.
Yeah, we had our last meeting February 5th on Zoom with the Island Institute partners, so Sky and Kate Kovansky, Sky Butterson Dunn and Kate Kovansky. We had our NREL partners, Brian Metlick there, and then also for people who weren't able to go, Kumar was there and also Becky Meadows presented a little bit about some ideas she had. And then of the people on our team who were there, we had Holly, me, Janice was there, Kathy was there, and then Trevor was also on the call. And some key things that we covered was that there was, Kumar from NREL shared a lot of ideas about, basically, we're in the scoping phase, so we need to figure out what we need to figure out. And so we're trying to think about what information and data is useful when we think about, developing a microgrid for the island, logistics of what works and also what doesn't work, what's feasible and what's not feasible, maybe more accurately. Becky provided insights into the Homer modeling methods that she's familiar with and works with. And was suggesting using data from 2021 through 2025 to create scenarios about where we would and how we would set up a microgrid for the island or microgrids. And then there was also a lot of discussion about data, what that looks like. And Trevor especially emphasized that some action items about determining usage data to request and thought about requesting it from CMP for the entire island, which is definitely a great idea, but it might be difficult to get all of that. And then getting a list of buildings that have undergone weatherization or heat pumps, mostly I think in the public sector is what he was thinking of there. But I think also residential, and then getting a list of buildings that have undergone, like different assessment data of where buildings are, square footage, demand, those kinds of data points to see how much energy we need to generate in a microgrid or island energy system. So we kind of just talked about what data we would like to collect, what that might look like in the coming couple of months here. So that's where ETIP is. And I can send notes to people
Yeah.
maybe from there.
Yeah, Kathy?
The piece of information that stuck and is rattling around in my head was actually brought up by Janice about giving a young newish renter in IAP a ride and finding out that she was spending $800 a month for electricity. And the idea was floated about a microgrid for the IAP property. And that just keeps bracketing around in my brain as a really interesting possible demonstration project for the island, that the island could see visually, see what the value of it is. So that I thought was a really good idea,
Yeah,
Jan.
that shocked me when she told me how much her.
That's a lot of money.
Well, it's one of the new buildings.
Yeah.
And you can see light through one of the corners. It's a modular building, I think, and they didn't put it together properly, so.
Well, that's the first thing to fix.
Exactly.
Wow.
And she said theirs is better than the other one. The other one, there's like not a line, there's a gap.
So that's not an electricity issue, that's a carpentry issue. I mean, somehow we've got to get those issues.
But when Elizabeth-
Electric home.
But when Elizabeth presents hers, there's a lot of people paying a lot of money for electricity and oil.
Yeah.
I don't wanna jump the gun with her report, but I like the idea of making sure that the people that are on the low end of the economic scale
Sure.
are the ones we really make sure they benefit from, cause
So couldn't we go to the contractor who put those things together and say, what did you do? And
Well,
to fix this?
that's what the housing people should be doing.
That's
Exactly,
IAP. To go to
Yeah.
IAP.
That's
I
what
mean,
the housing-
before we tackle the electrical issue, we really need to fix the building.
But there are a lot of people that are paying that much.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yes, in decent homes.
Well, I don't know if they're decent homes or
So-
not, but there's a lot of people paying that.
So basically, we need to know how many of those people there are, who they are, and how we can help them one at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
All goes back to data.
Yeah, really.
I think it would be appropriate for our committee to get in touch with Barbara Talamo. She's the chair
Of who?
Of the I.
of IAP.
I know Barbara and John pretty well. I'm happy to call them and talk to them.
Well, it's her. John's not on it.
Yeah, but John knows a lot about the issues.
Yes, he does,
And
but she's the boss.
I'm friends with them too, so, and I'm the one that heard the problem, so I don't mind.
Brother, why don't you do it?
Yeah, I'll do it. And the way I would phrase it is, I don't wanna butt into your business, but this is what I heard, and is that something that you wanna look into or something?
And could our committee help?
Yeah, and could our committee
And
help?
if there's data needs specifically, there is that nonprofit data grant that.
I sent that to
Janice
her.
talked
I
about.
sent it to her.
Yeah.
And she was very grateful to get it.
Okay, great. So there's definitely avenues for them there's a nonprofit organization that's donating money for other nonprofits to collect data about their issue so that they can write grants and get.
Yeah, so
more
I sent that to
funding.
her, and
So
she was
they can
excited about
totally
it.
Use that if they're able to. Great.
Sorry, I meant to tell you that.
No, it's good.
Holes through the wall of the building.
That's crazy.
Yeah, let me write a note to myself because.
All right, any other Elizabeth, I'm curious. Do we have a way to start asking who's paying these bills and get a sense for what's possible to fix that?
I don't know. That might be, maybe it would be helpful to talk to IAP
Mhm.
about that, because they probably, if you're thinking about those buildings, probably.
I was thinking about just people in general who.
Yeah.
that there are a lot of people.
No, she's in IAP housing.
No, I understood
Yeah,
that,
but
but Jenna said there are a lot of people on the island paying.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Elizabeth's gonna tell us about it.
Okay,
Yeah. I think there's definitely opportunity. I think that's maybe a larger discussion, because we're now processing a lot of data from a survey. from 2024 that ran through 2025. And I think that there's an opportunity to think about doing it again or doing it a different way and honing in on some of those focus points of affordability and especially considering newer builds or things like that, or people moving around. I think that's definitely a valid discussion. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what's considered affordable?
I don't know.
I don't know what their rents are. You can, some of them are rental and some of them are purchase mortgage. They're different schemes.
But you're separating what they're paying
Right.
as opposed to what they're paying for energy, but that's.
Well, they have to pay their own utilities.
Yeah, this
Right, but
person that I
what's-
gave a ride to said their mortgage is, I think, I'm not sure if she used the word mortgage, but they're paying 1,400 a month to live in the house, and I'm not sure if they're buying it or, I didn't ask that. And then their electric bill is another 700 plus every month on top of that.
That's
If
great.
I don't know
If
what
it's
the
one of the new
structure
buildings, it's public knowledge that it's a rental.
It's a rental.
Wow.
Yeah. Thought mine
And
was
1,400 a month these days, that's,
That's not cheap.
it's not cheap, but it's not outrageous compared to what they pay on the mainland for, you know. It's a private apartment building.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention what energy burden is according to Maine-based studies and in general. It's usually around 6% of income is considered, 6% or above is considered a high energy burden.
Well, just to give you a comparison. We're 1,600 square feet. And before we got the solar panels, we had done the, I forget what the right name is, with the CMP, but you average out your bill over the year, and it was $360 a month. With a super energy efficient house. So it's not inconceivable that you can spend between $700 and $800 on a less than super.
If you spend $30 a month.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, stop.
And that includes my car. Because of the solar panels and the battery.
Well, now I'm not paying it. Now I'm paying the PPA charge plus the connection charge, which is under $220 a month.
Okay, so you have data on these that you want to report, right?
Yes,
Why don't we just shift the order of
Okay.
business and go to those data now?
that could be, yeah, great. If that's okay with everybody, I think that would tie in well with this conversation. Yeah, because then we'll just end up revisiting. Okay, I'll share my screen. So. Let me see. Okay, so late last week, I think Friday, I sent along a technical report. That is a very good read if you're trying to go to sleep about all the
Sleep?
different, yeah, all the different survey questions. From a survey that the Islesboro Energy Committee administered in 2024. And so this slideshow is going to recap some key points. If you saw my document, you saw that there were about 50 questions, 50 questions on the survey. So this is a really broad summary and yeah, sorry if I can't.
Oh, no, that's.
I can also move if people want to sit. But, so yeah, we'll recap what was in the survey and some implications, what we can do moving forward based on this information. So, as I said, the survey was administered in January of 2024 through September of 25. We received 100, or you all received 123 responses. And then, of course, some of them were repeated. The survey was administered a couple different sessions. So some people got a different version of the survey than perhaps somebody would have day one, January 2024. There were some minor edits and things made. So we filtered through some of those to make sure that to standardize more or less the responses. So we have 116 households that we used for analysis, is what all these numbers will be based on. The survey, I mentally have split it up into two chunks, two parts. So parts 1 through 5, I have 5 sections about topics and key themes that relate to more content-based things like insulation, weatherization of homes, what heating systems people use, what appliances or vehicles they use, kind of all the different aspects of energy in someone's daily life. And then also solar power or maybe solar potential for people who maybe don't have solar power yet. And then the second sort of chunk was part 6 through 8, which is more data about incentives that people might qualify for on Islesboro, and then which could be potential for us to use for grant writing, for other future projects, for saying, hey, there's this need when there's lots of outages, and then we can pursue that because we have data telling us to go that way. And then people also had a chance to leave additional comments. So the first 1 through 5, parts 1 through 5, had about 35 questions people to answer. The last 3 parts had close to 13, 14 questions, and those were optional people to answer. So some of them had different numbers of responses. So the first part of the survey was collecting general information about the people who were answering our questions. And so the majority of people who answered are owners. 90% of the people who responded own their homes. So that means that they probably have more ownership of what they can do in their home. They could make more changes if we recommended them or if they wanted to pursue that. Most of them were year-round residents, 72%. So about 25% of responses were from people who probably come here mostly in the summer or for different vacation times. And then the majority of people had 1,000 to 2,000 square feet of living space. So about 55% of people fell in that category. And most homes that were represented in the survey had 2 occupants or more. 2 was the most common one. And then when you totaled up, 80% had, I think, up to 5 occupants in their house. And then when we talk about CMP bills, we could have a whole presentation about how people talked about their CMP bill experience. And more to come, but they spent up to $2,000 on CMP annually. So 37% of people who responded were paying between $500 to $2,000 to CMP annually. 34% were paying over $2,000 a year to CMP. And again, since this was administered a couple of different times, there's about 18% of people who didn't get a chance to respond to this question. So some of the percentages might be a little bit off. That's why you only see 47% on that graph. Okay. Moving forward, the first sort of content-based part of the survey was about insulation and weatherization of people's homes. So people expressed that for the most part, their homes were acceptably insulated. However, 40% expressed interest in adding or improving their insulation around attics, basements, roofs, walls. Lots of different projects were listed that were important to them. Because if we look at that percent of 30% being poor or drafty, that's a pretty significant number of people who aren't comfortable, especially in the winter. And since we know that the majority of people who answered live here year round, they do deal with the winter, so they need to have a properly insulated home. The next section was about heating and how people are keeping their houses warm. And so this graph I like because huge props to Cressica on this one, using a model to show, so when you standardize all these responses and then you put the different variables against each other. So we asked questions like, what is your main heating system? So certain percentages of people, the majority said fuel oil, then some people said heat pump, some people said they used wood to heat their homes. But then when you also pair that with how much they're spending on their CMP bills, you can get a graph like this that shows you it demonstrates what kind of percentage of their heating costs is coming from fossil fuels versus whether they're heating supplementally with something else. So a big takeaway from this graph is that fuel oil, which was very common for people to use, is also the most expensive way for people to heat their house. It's costing $4,000 annually, over $4,000 annually to heat with fuel oil rather than with heat pumps or with wood, which are more efficient and renewable sources of heating systems.
So the electricity on this, is this just electricity to their whole house for whatever, or is it electric that they use for heat?
It's for heat specifically.
No, I think it is their total energy cost. So it's
Okay.
all electricity they're using for the entire year.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it would be difficult for most people's bills to split out the heating.
Yeah. So on that fuel oil one.
Mhm.
So you're saying that people that use fuel oil,
Mm-hmm.
that's the average amount of electricity they also use?
That amount of that bar, that section of the bar represents how much money they're spending on electricity annually for that home. Yeah, that's the cost of it.
Okay.
Yeah, not
And-
so kilowatt hours, it's a cost.
And if you look at it, you can see the fuel oil people are basically using the same amount of electricity as the wood people, or, you know, slightly more, because perhaps furnaces need that, or boilers need some sort of electricity. So that's a kind of good confirmation that that's the amount of electricity, 1,200 square foot home, which is the median home size that we had in our survey. That's the amount of electricity they're using. So you can compare that to the heat pumps and see that heat pumps are using like what, I don't know, 70% more electricity. And that would kind of be attributable to their heating costs.
Thank you. Yeah. So some other key details from this portion of the survey included people reporting that 75% of them have supplemental heating systems. So that can kind of tell us that the main heating system, like their furnace, is maybe not enough to keep them warm. So they're also using a wood stove or something like that. Yes.
Elizabeth, do you have any way of correlating these data with the status of the insulation and the weatherization of the building? So in other words, some people who heat pumps, for example,
Yeah.
they're really efficient, but if you put them into a house that's poorly insulated and poorly sealed, you pay a lot of money to run a heat pump. So do you have any way of cross
I think that we
referencing?
could, go through each response to match up and see
Yeah.
who reported which insulation
Mhm.
with what heating systems. Yeah, that's definitely possible.
Graph degree of
Yeah.
insulation versus the cost of electricity for heat.
Yeah.
Something like that.
definitely.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can include that in the regression analysis and come up with the relationship
Yep.
between insulation, but it's, when we're asking about their insulation, it's very subjective.
Of course.
So there might not be a very good correlation in this case. Yeah.
I was wondering, the people that say they're insulated enough, is there any way to like lump them together and look to see how much electricity and heat oil they're actually using to see if they actually have a good idea of how much they're using, you know what I mean? Is this a false belief that they're comforting
That's an
themselves with, or is it
interesting
really true?
This is why we ought to have a blower door apparatus and do this ourselves.
so that's one of the great things about having the survey is once we go through every question and see how people responded, and the technical report has like every single question right now, in a more or less standardized way, then you can, once you get into the spreadsheet, you can cross-reference different questions and see how do people answer it. And
Yep.
then if we want to re-administer it later, we know how to phrase the question or how to say,
Discriminate,
can you give me this
dissect out
detail
the data,
so that, yeah, and I can definitely make note of that we're keeping a tab list of everything we would maybe change or want to collect in the future. So that's definitely really helpful. Okay, just in the interest of time, I'm gonna keep this moving, and also, I will say, if you wanna email more about this, we can always chat more about any of these. Yes, okay, I think that covers this, yeah, and 25% of people reported being interested in getting heat pumps, and 34% already have them at the time of the survey. That could have increased by now, in 2026. So the next part was about appliances and vehicles. So what other energy parts people are using in their day-to-day lives. When we talked about water heaters, about 54% of people are using electric water heaters, whereas 22% rely on oil and gas, and then heat pump water heaters, 19%, so almost 20% of those. And then for stovetops, gas is the most common, followed by electric. A few people are using induction stovetops, but not a whole lot. And then in terms of having a generator, 67% of people reported having one in case of an outage or backup need. Whereas there were about 30% who don't have any backup option, and a lot of people did report being interested in learning more about battery or other backup generator options, maybe not a generator, but another way to have energy if there's an outage.
Did very many of them have batteries? I don't think there's that many.
There was like less than 5%. with batteries at the time of the survey. It could be more. And also next week, maybe they'll generate some interest for batteries. And then in terms of vehicles, most people are driving fully gas cars. 20% reported having a hybrid, whether it be plug-in or non-plug-in. And then 5% had full EVs. I think there's definitely potential that that's increased since the surveys happened. Moving into solar power. In this part, a lot of people reported being interested in solar. There were questions relating to whether or not people had an array, whether or not they would be interested in participating in a community operation where people are using different shares based on what their property is able to generate and then sharing those credits or sharing that energy across the community. So a lot of the graphs looked a lot like this, where it was asking, do you have solar or would you be interested in owning a share? And people said maybe, they were interested, they would think about it. 30% said yes, that was very common, where people were saying, yes, I already have something set up. But then about 20% of people said that they couldn't swing it, that that wouldn't be possible for them. That again was kind of reflected in other solar questions. But overall, I think that this section had a lot of curiosity, if not optimism, about solar for the future.
I'm wondering if how much people know about the PPA option.
Yeah, I think that's a really good note. And then after this, we got into the incentives of what kind of extra funding or things people qualify for. Sorry for all the words on this slide particularly, but essentially Efficiency Maine offers different incentives for people that might need financial assistance to have energy efficiency projects carried out in their homes, who might need some sort of loan or financing program to help them get, whether it be like a new heating system or heat pumps or something like that. So on Islesboro, we asked people if they qualify for the programs on the left, which would be things like SNAP, temporary assistance for needy families, Maine Care. Only 9% of people said that they would qualify for that, which would then qualify them for enhanced Efficiency Maine incentives to do energy projects at home. Whereas about 60% said no. Other people reported being not sure about it, or they didn't get a chance to answer that question, or they chose not to. And then also on the right-hand side, that shows another way that you could qualify through your adjusted gross income, which would be up to 70,000 if you're a single individual or married, filing separate, or up to 100,000 if you're filing together with your partner. And 27% said that they thought that they would qualify. So more people would qualify based on their AGI rather than like a government assistance program like SNAP. And then part 7 was where we started asking questions for more future grants, different things about sort of island life in general that can help us see kind of pieces of the energy landscape in relation to them. So a lot of key themes were about energy costs. People said that they feel like they pay a lot of money for their energy, for their electricity to keep the lights on, but that it's possible for them. Again, that's a very feelings motivated question. That could be something where you go back and trace how much are they actually paying and how do we qualify high versus not. And sometimes people noted they had to trade in their comfortability at home, you know, not really warm, but the lights are on. So yeah.
You have no income data associated with this, right? These are just
Not
responses to open questions.
No income data, correct, yeah. Unless people wanted to share, but no one did. And then affordability overall was a similar story. People say they can afford to live here, but it's not necessarily always comfortably affordable to them. And then a lot of people commented on being affected by power outages, whether it was smaller inconveniences like losing working hours, having a hard time with internet connectivity and things like that, or losing food, losing things that they need like medical equipment. There was a range of answers there. And then I think this kind of sums it all up at the end. We asked if people had anything else that they wanted to add, and it kind of emerged that there was sort of 3 key things going on. So people have interests, they have concerns, and they have ongoing work that they're doing related to energy on Islesboro. So in terms of interest, people are really interested in getting these efficiency projects going in their home. They're interested in the concepts of wind energy, geothermal. I think someone mentioned tidal, all the different energy systems and renewable ways that we could energize this island and have it. I think this connects a lot to ETIP and our project there. But then in terms of ongoing work, people are doing the work of electrifying their homes, installing generators and backup options. And then with that, there's still concerns about the cost of heating, cost of living. They're worried about public accessibility to things. I think a lot of people filled this out kind of with the 2024 storms in their mind. I kind of was getting some of those notes of concern about when the next storm happens, how are we going to be prepared or not be prepared? So a lot of infrastructural comments there. So all in all, I think that this is a really great starting point for us to think about energy on Islesboro, how people are feeling, but also the tangible effects of not being warm enough, having things cost a lot of money. And I think that in terms of the data itself, it's really important to have this sort of raw data, so to speak, of every single question laid out in the technical report that's going to be, Chris and I discussed, it would be great to have an internal version of that for the committee where we have access to basically what I'm sending you, all of like every single question, here's how everyone responded, and then having a more publishable or public version kind of showing, here's what people in Islesboro are saying without maybe some of those like super specific questions that people might not really connect with anymore. I think this also provides us a lot of opportunity to think about what education and outreach programs are relevant. I think this totally affirms our focus on solar energy for 2026 and financing our solar projects as much as possible. And I think it helps with ETIP as we're thinking about what data are we collecting as we scope for a microgrid. This is exactly like a good starting point to launch off of what more we can collect. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for listening. I'll send out these slides. I'll probably present this again in a more, again, public sort of way to share what all we've learned, how we can use it, and all that good stuff. So
Is this a future energy committee program?
I think it could be, yeah, if you guys think this was
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah, I think people would be very interested.
Yeah. This is a good start on a lot of issues. for the
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent.
Nice
Thank
work.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Chris, who
Yes.
did all the
Jessica.
initial legwork for the survey,
Yes.
so.
It's too bad we got such a slouch as a fellow this year.
Yeah.
But they have sent us something capable.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Simple. Out of that, I believe it was 116 respondents, what percentage of the homes on the island is that?
Yeah, because we were thinking up to 20% of people could have been represented. I remember Janice and
Well,
Chris and I were talking.
Yeah, I think there's 400 year-round households, so it's
Right.
more than a.
No,
No,
300 or less.
there's 300 less year-round
Yeah,
households.
so there's about, I think, yeah, so she was saying 75% of that 116. That means that the year-round households, about 290. So that's 30% of year-round households are represented. But a lot less of the seasonal households are represented clearly.
Yes.
There's about 800 seasonal homes.
Seasonal or year total houses?
Total housing is about 1,100, but I'm not absolutely sure. It's in that ballpark.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And great question.
A lot of those data are in the original ETIP report, though they've certainly changed since.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be great for me to cross-reference the ETIP report with my technical report, my version of this, and kind of see where things may have shifted.
I think it's really encouraging how many people are interested in solar and willing to hear more about it and consider getting it and, I don't know, I was really encouraged by some of the numbers.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Me too.
It's good.
Yeah,
Especially because, to me personally, just like that they were year-round people interested in things. It wasn't just like, oh, maybe, like, that those people are here and they know that they're homeless.
But the other value here is maybe a little bit more subtle in that not everybody knows how many people are struggling with these bills.
Right.
But these aggregated data show that a significant percentage of the population is struggling. This is a collective, a community issue, not just individuals in isolation.
Exactly.
And that really speaks to the ETIP program, which is more broadly directed. And that we need to bring to the select board's notice, I think.
Yeah. Great.
Okay,
Oh, could I ask one more thing? So the people that responded, yes, they would be eligible for like main care SNAP, and the people that said what percentage of their income they fell below that. Is there a way to like get that group and show what they're paying for electricity? Or
We can see what they
fuel oil, and
reported.
especially as a percentage of,
Yeah,
I mean, I
so
don't know if you can say percentage of income, but certainly they're below 70,000 a year, or below 100,000 a year.
AGI is still below 70.
yeah,
then the question is, how are we going to help these people with their energy costs? We
Yeah.
have to have, the techniques to do that.
Yeah,
I mean. I'll talk about this another time. Yeah.
well, that has been a problem because people haven't always wanted to access what we have to offer, so we have to figure out how to do that.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Every situation is unique, but we have to find a small cadre of people who need and are willing to be helped. And then build from that core,
Network from there.
yeah. Are we good on this?
thank you all. It was
Yeah, thank
nice.
you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Chris, for the help.
So there are a couple of issues here that kind of allied together, but I wanted to start with the first one, number 6, which is maintenance of equipment. That's just a general moniker or it's a way to enter this conversation. Janet has asked the committee for some help with setting up schedules of maintenance for the various heat pumps that we have. And now that we have, it started with just heat pumps. We have several different heat pumps in different buildings. There are different levels of maintenance that have to be monitored continuously, from simple filter changing to cleaning and more elaborate than that. And she asked for help in compiling a list of the various things, like an Excel spreadsheet, basically, of what has to be done with what frequency. So Harriet and I decided that this was not something that she and I should decide to do, and that one of us just does. We wanted to bring it to the committee for discussion and see if all of us have any thoughts on how this issue should be addressed. And it seems to me that it is part of a larger issue about overall maintenance of buildings. I won't go any further into than that. Let me just open this for conversation. Do people have any thoughts? Okay, one question. Is there anyone who wants to do this individually on the committee? Okay, that's number 1. But number 2, is this really the task for the Energy Committee to do? And if so, how do we do it? If not, then how do we engage to see it done in a different way? Okay? And we don't have a lot of time left, but
So
then
my
I'm
thought,
expecting an answer, okay?
my thought is that, and I'm just relating it back to the terminal. The state actually has service contracts with different contractors for different tasks. And there is somebody who monitors that down in Rockland. But I honestly would have assumed that the town would have that done. They would have service contracts. They would have somebody maybe I don't know, do they have a facilities department that handles the buildings? That would be
That's a
responsible.
question before the select board right now.
Yeah, so,
What did you say, Karen?
That is a question they're grappling with right now.
Okay.
I mean,
So
whether to hire somebody or whether we have one at all, and they don't know they have it.
I know that we have a service
When to
contract
hire somebody.
for the fire station. That's written up, that's the only one that I know about, okay, and that's because Fred specifically wanted that, and it was incorporated in the process of getting that done. Does anybody else have any thoughts? Because
I agree with Holly that this doesn't seem like something that should be an energy committee responsibility. It seems like we could be as nice to them as we could be,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem like.
so,
Well, these things were bought with money from the Energy Committee budget, right?
right,
So I think it wouldn't hurt to develop a spreadsheet that says you know, the heat pumps need to be cleaned every XYZ, and this was the company we bought it from. But I don't think we should be calling the company and arranging for it.
No,
Yes.
That's above and beyond what
So
volunteers should be
it's
doing.
not something I want to do. I was asked to do it, actually. That's
Well-
not something I have time to sit down and do.
I mean, this is a larger question, like Bill said. There's a lot of equipment that we've been installing in various places, and it all needs monitoring and maintenance. Just like Bill sent out those photos today of the solar panels, and that's been a point of frustration that we've gone over in the past, and we haven't, moved forward with resolving that. But that's, part of this larger package of monitoring and maintenance of energy related equipment. And that also has to do with the solar maintenance contracts that were required for the town in order to get insurance. And we also should revisit that issue because they're extremely high, and somebody needs to assure that they're being executed on, and I'm not sure that they are. So
What are you referring to?
there's I think it was the salt shed array was purchased out of the PPA. Janet had to purchase a maintenance contract, and it was on the order of $3,000 a year for one array, and that is exorbitant, and we should revisit it as a, set of projects to make sure that we are getting the coverage that we need in terms of maintenance, but also, not overspending on that kind of contract.
So I have two things to report that impinge on both of these issues, all right? First, can you call up the pictures just so everybody can see them?
Yeah, did you send them in as an email?
I did.
I don't think I got today.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You can see them very, very quickly. The first one is the town office. This was taken weeks after the snowfall. Look at the extent to which the solar arrays are covered, okay? Now shift to the next one and look at the library. This is the library array, okay? Look at the extent of snow on that roof. We have invested a lot of money, we being the town, in our solar arrays. These two roofs are fairly sloped. This one less than the town office here, but still, at least I think, I didn't actually measure them. But the solar array on the salt shed is far less sloped than this. I'm sure that it's covered with snow a lot of the time. That is money the town is missing. We paid for those panels. We're not getting that electricity for extended periods of time. Okay, that's one issue right there. Second issue, go back to the library array, if you will. Now, this is related but not identical. The one has to do with maintenance of the arrays. The other has to do with optimizing in a different way.
right.
Look at the shadow on that roof. This was taken at 11:15 or something like
Oh,
that.
God.
The 28th of February, something like that.
Yeah.
So the angle of the sun is symmetrical around the winter solstice, right? So this is a month after that. This is an extended period of time where just the branch pattern of the trees is shadowing the solar array. Now, I brought this up 2.5 years ago when we first thought about solar array on this building. That's a maintenance issue. We have to deal with the trees that are shadowing that. Related but not identical issue. That's something we have to talk about. We don't have time to do it tonight, but that's a major
Well,
issue.
This goes back to the whole, sort of maintenance.
Yes, but I have one more to bring in, okay?
Okay,
Then
sorry.
let's talk globally about it, okay?
Yeah.
The third issue is the functionality of that array right there. We're having trouble getting reporting, and this impinges on what you were saying, Chris, about the maintenance of the array. We have had 2 months reporting on the from the website on the output of that array. 2 months since August and December. The rest of the time, we have no reporting from the array itself. Now, we do have a report from CMP because we have the bills, okay? But I can tell you from looking at the town arrays and from our array at home, we typically, CMP reports between 40 and 95% of what we actually produce because of the behind the metering use of that electricity. So we're getting a really slanted view of how much electricity we're producing, which has a big impact on how much money we're saving for the town.
Say that again, CMP.
CMP reports what they see through the meter, but they
Right.
don't report what happens from the array to the house before it goes out.
Oh, gets used by the house.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay, and what's reported by CMP is somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 70% uniformly, normally, of
Okay,
what's actually produced, okay? So it undervalues the value of what
The
the
array.
solar arrays are doing, when they're clean, not when they're like that, all right? So all of these come together as maintenance issues that the town is not dealing with, that are costing the town a lot of money. This is not an energy committee task, I propose. This is the task for a town buildings maintenance individual to oversee and manage this issue. So that's the global issue. We have about 4 minutes to talk about this, but it's just what Cressica and Janice have said, and Holly. This is not an energy committee task. Our task is to move the select board to hire someone to do this on a routine basis.
And basically a facilities manager.
Exactly.
They sell snow rakes,
I rake our solar array every snowfall.
but don't you worry about scratching it or breaking it?
Nope, nope, it's a very light rake and I'm very careful.
I
And in this case,
do a
okay.
demo for all of us who have solar array.
I did that for Nancy Alexander. She does it herself now. Yeah, if we go back to this array, okay? Look at this. You have a shallow roof where most of the snow accumulates. If you pull that snow off the shallow roof, a lot of the snow on the array will slide down. But what happens is you get an avalanche of snow. It builds up at the junction between the
Right.
two roof angles, and it sits there and it doesn't melt
And it
and it
falls.
doesn't slide off. That's an easy task that can be reached from the ground with a step ladder. I've done it. So it's a maintenance issue that is manageable. We have to step up to the plate and get it done. That's where we stand, my opinion, okay?
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Anybody wants to see me clear the solar arrays, just come to my house the day after a snowfall, I'll show you.
Well, this says, I mean, I don't know.
I'll take a lesson.
Sure.
I don't wanna break it in the panel.
No, it's not really that big an issue. The rake is lightweight, it's plastic, and you don't bang it on the solar array. You gently
Right,
put it
exactly.
on the solar array and you slide the snow off. And if it's deep, you take the top layer off, then you take the next layer off. It's not difficult.
Well, this website, I don't know, I haven't assessed how accurate they are. This says cold weather boosts the solar efficiency 10 to 15%.
That's
And
true.
A comprehensive 5-year study by NAIT, whoever they are, found that snow coverage results in only 3% annual energy loss, far less than the industry's traditional 20% estimate, making winter solar highly viable. That's what this says.
Those arguments are designed to
Still-
convince you that in an area like this, solar array is a good idea. But let me tell you, I can show you exactly what the solar array looks like before I rake the snow off and afterwards. You see a flat line and then it goes boom, right up, okay? And the more days it's covered, the less electricity you make. The snow
Yeah,
cover
it
is
still
very
lost money. Yeah,
What's that?
and it still lost money, no matter whether or not it's 3 or 4%. In 2024, it was about 5% for the town. I calculated then. I'll be interested to calculate it again after this major coverage. But it is a significant amount of money.
The
But I
snow,
would say in December and January, when the nights are really long anyway, I'm not sure it's worth the trouble, but this time of year when the days are getting longer and it's really sunny, it might be worth the effort.
you make a lot of electricity in February, March, and
Right.
April when the arrays are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they bundled 2 arguments in there to convince you to put solar arrays on. They weren't discriminated accurately. But it is true that when the arrays are cool, they're more efficient. But then that competes with the fact that the insulation period is shorter. So you get a bigger bang for your buck in the winter, but the bucks doesn't go as far. So,
So how do we move forward to have the town address this and also to educate those of us who are not up there rigging?
I propose that we make a recommendation to the select board that this is costing a lot of money for the town and we need a manager to deal with these issues in an efficient way. This is not an occasional issue. This is
Right.
this is an ongoing.
Systemic ongoing
Yeah.
issue.
So I propose that we make a recommendation to the select board to hire a buildings manager to make the most of the investments we've already made.
I second that motion.
Now we vote.
Discussion first. Any comments? I was rushing to try to get this in within the time of the period.
Well, it's kind of shocking to me we don't already have one. I mean, isn't that? It's kind of shocking that there's not somebody whose job this is already.
And we have generated a lot more need with all the equipment we've installed.
Yeah. So it just makes sense to have somebody whose job it is to keep track of this.
Anybody other comments? Nays? Shall we take a vote? Okay, Jessica, I'm looking at you first.
Sure.
Okay, Holly?
Yes.
Janice?
Yes.
Yes.
There's nobody else up there, right?
Right.
Ava's gone.
Well,
Okay, and yes, okay. So we just have to draft a proposal. Okay, I shot off my big mouth.
Too bad Peter isn't here tonight.
Well, what
But
are,
he was.
But he's
what
not-
are they, when are they voting on this? It's coming in front of the
It's
select
been
board?
an ongoing discussion. It's not on the agenda for tomorrow, but it's something that they have been thinking about and will address again in the future. So I recommend
Alacrity.
going
Like what we
to,
already saw.
going to a select board meeting to talk about it
And
and
should we send them a letter too? I mean, something written or?
probably.
Yeah,
Can't-
does anybody want to draft this? I made a big deal about this. I should do it
I think
probably
you
and then
have,
send
you
it
have
out.
the argument in your head the best.
All right, I will draft something and I will send it around to everyone for criticism, evaluation, comments and so on, right? We're having company. I'm supposed to clean the house tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll get it done tonight, but we'll see. Any other issues?
Well,
Wait,
this goes hand in glove with 7, right?
with 7, yes, exactly. That was the issue about
Right.
the tree trimming. We have to find out if those trees are on library, town property, or if they're on private property. Some are definitely on library property, some are definitely on private property, and we have to see how to address that. That's an issue for coming weeks and so on. Prescott, you got a map of this building complex here that showed detailed boundary lines and so on. I don't know where you got that. Can you get one comparable for the library?
That detailed one was from the health center, kind of a more recent project. So it would be a challenge to get it for the library, but I can easily just sketch out the boundary lines based on the property
Well, I
map.
have the town map, the tax map. I got that, but it's a very small scale.
Yeah, I mean, I can draw it out so that you can scale it.
I'll copy what I have, blow it up and send it to you, see it and see what you want to do with it. We have to measure where those trunks are relative to the building, all right? Okay. We still have several issues here. Is there more for the Island Fellow update?
No, I just have one question. I'm doing an Instagram promotional takeover for my fellowship for the week of the Island Institute page. And I was wondering if at the end of the meeting, I can take a quick picture of us to say, "Hey, energy."
Sure.
Sure.
All right.
Nah.
How about the event committee?
On the 17th, Al is giving, an extended version of the, rapid, lightning round he gave. So he's gonna be speaking for at least an hour at the library. I think it starts at 6.
That's a week from today.
Oh my God, is it already a week from today?
No,
Yeah.
it's from tomorrow.
Yeah, okay,
No,
Today is the 10th.
Today's the
Today's the
10th.
10th.
Oh, good.
yeah, it's a Tuesday, so,
Oh, all right.
how time
Thank
flies.
God.
So we're gonna be having pizza. I guess we have to start getting flyers around and announcing it. When does the paper come out? I thought the paper would be out already. Cause we put an article in the paper about it. Okay, so we have to get flyers out and constant contact.
Let people in the committee know if you need any help.
And I can put word out on Friday. There's a meeting of like they call it leaders meeting at the library,
good.
and I go for the fellow just to hear what everyone's talking about. But Harriet, I'm assuming won't be there, so I can share
Yeah.
that for committee.
And is there somebody able to put it on Facebook? Cause I'm not on Facebook.
Nor do I can't do that.
Don't know how to do it. If you give me a flyer, I can post it,
Okay.
but I could, yeah,
Yeah,
that I can do.
flyers up.
but I can't make a flyer
And
this week.
constant contact, is there some format thing we have to do special, Chris, could?
You send it to me.
Send it to you? Oh, perfect. All right, so I have to get a flyer together ASAP. I have to order the pizza.
Okay, while
But
she's doing that,
I think it'll be interesting. We just have to get the word out. And I think the library will put it on their website. I'll
Good.
talk to.
main can. Is there much to say about that?
I guess just, do you want to go?
I've registered, I'm going.
I haven't registered, but I'm going.
I haven't registered, but I'm going.
Yeah.
So I can drive 3 other people in the car. But I don't wanna be there overnight. I wanna be back here for the
I
last
want to be
ferry.
there overnight.
And actually for the 4 o'clock ferry if possible, so,
Yes,
Sounds
I'm
good.
down with that.
alright. Anything else?
Yeah, my 2 things. Remember me?
You're right, go ahead. I did forget, go ahead.
That's okay, I've been working hard on the summer event. And I made a really good connection with, Maine Preservation. And I got a sharp young staffer who then, networked me to, a slightly older staffer, still young, but very energetic. And, it's a very interesting organization. I don't know how much you know about it, but they go out in the field a lot. And they have these field service specialists that go out and look at things for people who are interested in preservation and answer questions. So they offer a real user-friendly service. They're the nonprofit. This is not the state preservation. This is Maine Preservation. Anyway, the person I met with on Zoom last week was going to contact a person for me, and today she networked with her, and then she sent me this woman who just sounds like she would be gangbusters. Her name is Elaine Kavanaugh. No, Gallagher Adams, and she's an architect and a preservation-oriented architect. And they left it with me when I got this email this afternoon. They talked among themselves and said that I should be the person that should contact her directly. So I will do that tomorrow or Thursday, and see whether she's willing. I haven't. Well, Trevor's not here. I wonder if Trevor does anybody know whether he approached the person he was
He
thinking?
sent an email saying he had had some success. I don't remember his wording, but wait a minute, what did he say? Go ahead, I'll look for the email.
Well, the issue is that the forum works on a name and a Vita. And then obviously if we get one name and Vita accepted by them and they put it on, and Peter indicates that they were positively disposed, then obviously we can plump it up and make it a panel later, but we need to get something that gets us on the schedule. So I would suggest that I contact this woman, and if she's interested, and it sounds like from her enthusiastic website that she couldn't say no, because it's like right up her alley, that I contact her, and if she'll come, that we get Peter to put her forward, and so that we get a slot. And then I'd like to keep working with Trevor on his person, who also sounds good, and I haven't given up on Steve Phillips, even though he didn't answer. He's a perfect person because he bought a big old cottage and he remodeled it with energy in mind, and he's, so that would be the ideal forum panel.
Do you mean Philippe Salendi?
Sorry?
Do you mean Philippe? Is that who you're talking
No,
about?
Steve Phillips.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
Are you, for
Steve
Trevor,
and Candace Jones and
I can't
Steve
find the
Phillips.
email.
Pardon?
I can't find Trevor's email.
well, for Trevor, are you talking about this not-for-profit group that he was?
No, Trevor has a contact with a for-profit woman who runs business or is a principal in a business that does remodeling, restoration with energy in mind. So she would speak to the sort of the boots on the ground. This gal that I'm talking to is sort of the design kind of person.
I think Trevor's is a nonprofit. It's Passive House Maine or Retrofit Maine.
Oh, I thought it was, I had a wrong impression because Harriet had the impression it was for-profit too.
No.
We
No, that
all
was-
agreed it was nonprofit, and also I work with them, so they're nonprofit. So
So I think if we all keep working, we could end up with a gangbusters panel.
So are you thinking of a panel for the forum or a panel for what we want to do?
No, a panel for the forum. Peter's presenting it.
He wants a forum? I mean, he wants a panel for the forum? Or
He's
just,
fine with it. They had panels last summer. They're not averse to panels. I went to 2 panels last summer at the forum.
well, I'm just wondering if we wanna have a panel at something we do, or if we wanna just go ahead and let the forum do it.
Well, let's resolve that if we find enough people to make it a.
Yeah.
Well, why would we put the effort into promoting it and publicizing it if the forum is gonna do it for us?
Because we wanna have a program.
Well, do we have to own it? I mean, it seems like the forum would, since this is aimed at summer people.
Yeah, I'm okay, I just,
You know what I'm
we were
saying?
thinking of doing it for a program ourselves, but if the forum wants to do it, I'm fine with that. I think,
I didn't understand it that way. I understood that we were working on this.
so we need to get the
forum.
program committee back together. I mean, I've taken a break from it, so we need to get back together and get our.
Cause this got discussed with Peter and he proposed it to the forum and.
Right, I thought we were looking for a speaker for the, but if they wanna do a whole panel,
Well,
I just have to wrap my
they'll
mind
take
around
a speaker, but, why wouldn't we make it as strong as we could? Cause that'll bring in a bunch of summer people to a big event.
And there's nothing wrong with co-sponsoring.
Yeah,
it's just not the way I remembered it, so I just have to adjust my head.
Well, I think it was vague. It floated between a couple different options, and I don't know if we ever came down hard on one or the other approach. But could have forgotten.
No, if you can get a panel for the forum, go for it. We just have to decide if we're gonna do something in the summer too, but
well, I don't.
let me think
It
about it.
isn't easy to either or, is it? I mean, we could do something else in the summer program.
Right, so that's what we have to decide, but we don't have to do it tonight. I just didn't realize that's what you were going for.
So I guess there was a meeting that when you were away, that's probably what happened.
I don't think it was ever really clear that it was one or the other. The conversation sort of floated with a number of options. At least that's the way I remember it.
I
don't think
don't
so.
remember it. I was tasked with getting a speaker for the forum.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, but that just means we need to get the program committee together and kind of get our ducks pegged in a row again. That's okay, that's okay. It's just already February.
Anything else?
Well, no, I wanted to just a quick report on the ETIP forum yesterday was, there were a couple of really interesting pieces of information that came out. That it seems like we might want to follow up on. One has to do with a technology that Quesca may be aware of. It's called something like Cartorium or Cortorium, that's used in Alaska to design and specify specifications for solar arrays without going to the site because it's so expensive to go to the site. And
Do they do it by satellite? How do they do it?
I'm not sure, the lady was not sure, but it's virtual. Drones?
yeah.
Drones? Okay. And, you know, it's just a sort of something that's worth knowing about, given that sometimes it's really hard to get people to come to the island and give us an idea of something. And if this is a tool that we could use to give them a lot of information without them coming over on a ferry and spending all that time.
There are a couple of people on the island who use drones for a variety of analytical.
Well, this is a program. A program. It's not just a drone. It's set up to do anyway. And then the other interesting thing was there was mention of Finland having well, two things. Finland having a type of battery that they put in a silo for a community. And that's all I know. I'm hoping that I can find out more at the next one.
Is it a
aside-
heat battery?
A battery for a large
Is it a heat
Right.
battery?
in a silo.
Is it
What-
for heat?
I don't know. I mean, it's for battery backup, I think. For, and, you know, it's rural, so it's isolated, you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
What's the point of the silo?
I don't know. The person who talked about it didn't know a whole lot about it. And so I'm gonna bug Kate about it. And then the other thing was that there is in Maine, and you all may know about this, a half of a Prius that you can have come that they use for a demo, so you can see the entire guts of a Prius and see how it works and how it creates energy.
Oh.
Yeah. And this guy who has it apparently is just eager to take his half Prius around the state and show it off. So it's something that might be interesting to people, isn't it?
You just can't create energy.
Hmm?
You can't create energy.
I can't hear you.
Never mind, never mind.
No, the Finland silo is, it's a sand battery,
Yeah, I just
Sand
looked it up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a thermal battery. There's also a really cool tank battery at the University of New Hampshire that does a similar thing. So we have one closer to home that's pretty cool. So you can check that one out too.
We don't have to go to Finland to check it out.
So how do you? I'll look it up, never mind. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
You say it's a sand battery?
Yep.
So you lift sand and let it fall? Is that the idea?
No, it's just thermal storage. They heat up the sand.
Oh, well, that's
And
great.
and the one in New Hampshire is I think it might be just chilled water. So they chill water, and I don't think they no, they might heat the water also, but it's a water-based thermal storage system.
That's an old concept. Yeah, yeah.
I would encourage people to go. It was nice to meet the other two people who were there and
These are
hear
their
what they were
Monday
working
afternoon
on.
thing?
This is the forum on the Monday afternoon. You went one time, didn't you?
I've just been busy each time they've done it.
Yeah, they're not at a good time.
Anything else? Okay, movement,
Bill,
proposal to adjourn?
Bill,
Yeah,
you asked me to provide you some feedback about the benefit or results of the installation of my 40 solar panels. And
Oh,
I thought it would be appropriate at this point, given the conversation tonight, to give you some hard numbers. We installed 40 panels the middle of November on a due southwest upper, completely uncovered, unblocked roof panel on the back of our house. April and I typically only use between 45 and 55 kilowatts per day. All right. So in the round numbers, 35 to 40, 350 to 400 kilowatts per week. Given the snow cover that we had in December, the week between Christmas and New Year's, we were not even in the state when that happened. the solar, because of the coverage, the solar panels provided 98 kilowatts compared to our usage of 318 kilowatts. That's just 1 week. Moving into end of January, end of December, and into early first week of January, it became the solar energy produced was 2/3 of usage. And that's what it's been relatively consistent, unless we've had a lot of snow coverage where it became about a third to 25 to 30%. But the interesting thing about your issue with the panels being covered by snow, our panels, which of course received the same snow that the library did and the town hall did, have actually completely uncovered themselves. All right. And I'm not up using any kind of a ladder or shovel or rake or any other thing. But as of the last week of January, the energy produced was 20% more than consumed. And last week, up through today, it's 50% more than consumed.
It'll just get better.
It hopefully will get better. I'm
As
only
it is
mentioning
far.
this because obviously being uncovered does help. All right. And there may be a way, I mean, one person listening to your conversation, we need a facilities manager for sure, but one person's not going to be able to do everything that is becoming required.
No, but one person is a start.
Oh, it's
Right now,
definitely a start.
we have 0 people.
Yeah.
Well, could not some of this be managed and partially delegated to the town maintenance committee?
Yeah, well, that's for the town to work out.
Right,
Yeah.
Right, but somebody has to have it in their head of what needs to be done.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Bob. But the roof angle has an awful lot to do with how well the snow lines
Absolutely.
are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And as I said, the town office has 2 roofs like this that accumulate the snow. That works
Right.
against.
yeah.
Thank you for that.
Heat strip might be beneficial in that location,
But then you're using energy that you
but
just
you're generating it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Movement
Thank
to
you.
adjourn?
Second. We have to vote.
Jessica,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Janice,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and Bill, yes. Bob, thanks for those data.
And everyone
A
smile.
photograph. Yes.
Mostly welcome.
Where do you want us, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Keep Cressica on the TV and get it.
Yeah, why don't we stand in front?
Yeah.
With that
Stand
table, I
under
like that idea.
Oh, yeah, yes. Get on.
Oh.
Sorry. I know it's been a
There was
long
Al
time.
that texted me.
Yeah.
Is this okay, Gracie? Well, you can't see it, but you look like a gnome constantly. I'll be.
No, this is just so that I don't block.
You're fine.
And no one will see that I.